And we should be live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Equine Town Hall number 17. Let's hook everyone up with a link and come back in a couple of minutes. Hi, JBS. Nice to see you around. Hi, Daniel. Let me post this really quick. Hey, recruiter. Yes, Mark got out the swag.
Yeah, I had to. I actually had a eye surgery on Friday, so trying to stay away from a very bright lights. That's why shades.
No shade. Here we go. Okay, well, we have a general link, and I suppose we can also post the specific link. Okay, there we go. Apologies, we are streaming from at this time streaming from a different location. So some things are a little bit harder to find. Here we go. Hey, look. Hey, Tomo. Good luck with your match. Hi, Troy. Okay, so I suppose we have a few participants here. Might be a good time to start. So without further ado, let us begin this town hall. So this is town hall number 17. I am joined by Fencemaker, and we are joined back by Marek, who's been traveling around, so has not been able to join us the past few. Good to have you back, both of you. And we're happy to share what's going on the equine development side of things and what's going on. So to start, I'll say some general updates. Overall, from the last town hall, we have continued to work on finishing what's still left in the social release. We'll delve into more details on that in a little bit. And we're also basically working on the configurator and some 3D work related to that. That's let's say a half a minute summary of the update, as well as some exciting marketing announcements that we'll make after that. So on the 3D art side of things, we're actually preparing some of the skin assets after building them in the configurator. There's a little bit of adjustment to the texture that we've been working on, so we're putting those back into the flow. That will take a little bit of time. We're also working on one more seasonal skin other than the one we completed earlier. That one you might see actually sooner than later. We will drop more details on that when that is ready. We're also working on some buildings and some other environment items that will fit into the racetracks. So it's actually 3 ways. One is the content, as in the skins, some of the newer content that will come later on. Some environmental items, mainly some buildings that will flesh out the racetracks environment. And third is, and last but not least, the existing Pioneer skins, as well as the Queen skin, etc., are, let's say, being prepared for the final form, which will show in the configurator. So there is a little bit of adjustment happening there, which we're working on. That's on the, let's say, art side of things. On the development side of things, Nick, if we can have some overview on what we're doing.
I am muted. Okay. Hi. First of all, we now have a full staging environment for our dev work. So whenever we're working on new features now, we have a website version of the DApp that's fully online, so that tests every problem we could have in production. And we actually let our mods loose in that environment, and we're playing around with it. So we've already done, like, the social release is already kind of working in that environment. We've been creating guilds, adding friends, chatting, and testing a lot of those things, like sending a request, canceling it, and looking at a lot of the little buttons and how it runs, and changing little things so that the experience is better, smoother. The notifications of all of this, how to deal with the notification list, has been modified, also made smoother while we were testing it, because it was a good it looked good on paper in the design, but once we were using it, it actually there was a lot of little things we could do to make it better, so we've done that. The only feature that's still missing for this release to be in full beta, so to be released to you guys in a testing as a test, will be the guild chat. So being able to chat with your whole guild. That's really the only function that's missing for this to go out. So for the social release. But yeah, so comparison to the first release, the stables release, the full staging environment and playing around with it a lot with the mods and everything, will make the beta a lot smoother. So that's how we're addressing the issues of the first release. For the configurator, so the 3D skins display, where you can pick which skins for your jockey and horse will be used for each of your horses when you do a race. There's a lot of work that's being done on it. We have leaked a little sneak peek into it, low-res screenshot of my dev doing work in it. There's a few kinks with the lighting, which are an artifact of how we did the exporting for the NFTs, that don't quite work super good in the WebGL environment. So we have an integration pipeline where we're addressing this and fixing the textures and the lighting. The dev is actually setting up an automated integration pipeline where a lot of this will get done automatically for all assets, but there is a lot of work to just go through each of them and make sure that everything looks good. So that's one of the things that is slowing us down a bit with that release. The dev work is being done, but there's a lot of little integration work to make sure that all the art can be converted properly into the game and look as good as it can. So when this is done, this configurator, the whole configurator, and basically the whole 3D upgrade will be released as a beta feature to you guys, but also it will have been in the staging environment for a little while before we show it to you. So we're always going to do this little thing where there's a beta, an internal beta, and then we give it to you as the beta. So you're not going to be trying things out that have never been tried before. On the DApp side, It's less sexy a bit. We've been reviewing our SIP, so Cardano Improvement Proposal, which is just a paper, basically just explaining our proposal to put the metadata from Equine on chain to be sure that we can update our NFTs in an efficient manner. And we're making that into a very general proposition. I think I've explained it a bunch of times already, so I don't want to be too long over it. But we're making that very general so that other games can use it. And we've been approached by a few games that want to use it. So there's work on the paper because we need to publish that to make that into a standard for Cardano. And then we're also working on the code to provide everybody with a working example and have that work for Equine, right? So we're building the Equine version of this so that we get it, but we're also giving it an open source so that people could use it as an example to customize it for their game. And now we're looking forward, this is nearly done, so we're looking forward to the race contract, which is the biggest thing for Equine. So we're finalizing the design of the contract, what exactly will be happening within it, what does it lock, what does it guarantee, what does it do. So we're pretty much done with the design of it. So we'll be starting the coding and the coding of the racing release soon on the blockchain side. So I guess that's where we're at on the dev side. I'll let the guys talk to you about marketing and the rest of the updates, but then we'll come back. There's a lot of questions all over Discord, so we can go over those after.
Sure, let me jump in with marketing. So overall, December is an exciting month for Equine because it will be very soon the first anniversary of the Pioneer Mint, right? December 18th. Was when it happened. And there are a few things that are impacted by this. I'll talk about the next town hall in a moment. But first of all, we will do the Underground Invitational slightly differently. So we are not doing the typical eliminations during the week. We decided that this will be kind of like a grand race of the past winners. So basically, past winners from the 4 classes that we raised. I know we didn't always have the same classes, but overall we gathered the winners and we basically entered them all automatically into the races on December 11th. So next weekend, next Sunday, we'll have the first part of the event where the quarter and semifinals will be run. So basically the idea will be that we'll end up with top 8 horses from each class, and those will race during our anniversary town hall on December 18th. So that town hall obviously will be a big one for us. It will be exactly 1 year since we started our 24-hour mint that began this journey that you are on with us all, and for which we are extremely grateful. I'm sure we'll have people, who will want to ask questions and all that. We'll probably also do some, maybe some small giveaways or something. So we'll see how it goes. But we want to make it festive, fun, and exciting, and also connected with the festive part as we are approaching the holiday season. We will do the 12 days of Christmas raffles. So the idea is that once we start, there'll be a raffle every day on the Discord. You can enter and then win a prize. There'll be 1 prize per day. So we just want to make December kind of fun and full of celebration as much as we can. Yeah, so that's mostly it.
Perfect. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, that sums up the town hall updates. Looking forward to the big town hall in 2 weeks' time. Underground invitational format is indeed exciting. It's meant to include all those who won in the past ones, but also to make a little bit of an event around that. We don't expect this to be last event regarding the underground invitations. So we hope to have people come back into joining through the normal qualifiers from the ones after. But we're really excited to have that stream. We really hope that you can join us in the celebration, and we're going to have a few exciting activities within that. So after this, I suppose we go to AMA, where we can take listed questions as well as go through any chat questions that we get here. Anybody who's watching us live.
Right. So there's a question. There's a few questions I wanted to go through quickly that are a bit technical. So Miran0707 asks, I've connected the app with my Nami, but next time I run the app, I can't see my horses and jockey. Doesn't it stay connected? I think in the production version, there's a problem with the cookie where it doesn't always work. In our staging environment, we've got the cookies fixed, and you can definitely stay logged in with your Nami. And you can even have multiple cookies with multiple wallets. So you could be switching between wallets and keep your cookies. As long as you connect often enough, your cookie will still be good, and you don't have to assign a transaction every time you log in. So that should be automatically logging you in. If you stay offline for too long, then your cookies will stop working, and you will have to log in once for each wallet the next time that you're coming online. But apart from that, the cookies should keep you from having to log in every time. Then here, town hall question. When a horse dies and it was a high earner, we mentioned it might turn into a statue. Does that work for Pioneer Horse, even though they get re-rolled into a token? Absolutely. The horse it doesn't get changed into a token, the Pioneer Horse, when it dies. You keep your dead horse. It's just that it gives you the opportunity of spawning a token. So the token will be a separate NFT, and there will be a new horse that you can roll with it. But it doesn't destroy your Pioneer Horse. Probably you'll want to keep that as a souvenir. And there's going to be its whole racing history in there. There's going to be a lot of things that you might want to just keep. So no, we're not destroying your NFT and turning it into a brand new horse. That's not how this will work. Town hall question. What happens to the future Pioneer Horse once the policy ID expires? Well, one of our mod answered that the policy never locks. That was a decision taking at the time way back when there was no good solution to the use case that we wanted for equine, which was horses that would update forever. So we didn't lock the policy. If at any time in the future there comes a day where we kind of need to move to another schema for the NFTs, we'll find out a proper way of migrating the horses to another policy or to whatever schema we need to use to keep the data safe and do everything according to the standards of the future. But for right now, the policies doesn't lock, so there should be no problem. And our new way of updating metadata for NFTs works even if the policy was locked, though. So that would not be a problem. But we'll see what we do with the policy and your horses. But I like locked policies more than unlocked policies as a matter of security. So we'll see. We'll see how we manage that. But at the moment that we took the decision of leaving the policy unlocked, it was the only known way of making the game happen. So that was the right decision at that time. And we'll see if that ever changes. We'll find a secure way to update. For tomorrow's town hall, will the team be adopting basically Yoroi wallet? I didn't know that Yoroi actually was still being worked on and was updated in any kind of way. But apparently 5 months ago, they did do the SIP30, so the standard to allow connecting directly to Yoroi from a website extension, basically from the website to the extension of Yoroi. So since that was put in, it's actually pretty much free for us to support it because it's a standard and we're supporting the whole standard. So it's basically just adding the Yoroi logo and adding the word Yoroi in the code in a few places. So that should be very easy to do. So yeah, we'll be adding Yoroi support. Then last questions. I think maybe I'll stop answering questions. I'll give that to Fahad. So how many tracks will be available at the beginning, at the launch of the game?
3 is the plan. 3 is the plan. 3 tracks doesn't mean only 3 courses. So 3 locations with different courses within them. That's the plan. When things are a bit more firm, we share more updates on those. We already have those defined, designed, and being built. 2 are already built in a, let's say, some form or shape. 1 is much more progressed. 1 is, let's say, partly done, and 1 has not been, let's say, started in the game environment, but will be done after that. So that's the answer to that question. I got a DM actually question asking me about status of the mobile app, which is maybe a good time for me to bring this up. Even though we have on our website saying mobile app coming soon, that is actually at the moment we've put that as a lower priority as we are looking at racing and breeding being the first priorities, especially given that wallets on mobile, number 1, are still not completely, let's say, integrated or implemented in a way that interacts with games or native apps. Number 2, given the fact that policy in general and regulation on games that have NFTs are still not really, let's say, safe or completely clear from iTunes, Apple, Google Play side of things. We've made sure that we focus our priorities first on racing and breeding. So expect fewer updates on the mobile app and more focus on these instead. There's a question, actually I should have been showing these, but not many were on chat. Is Q1 next year a realistic timescale for the public launch? I would say that even in our internal plans, we are anticipating and hoping for that to be a feasible timescale as of now. Not a promise, not a commitment, but I will be, I think, honest and truthful when I say it seems feasible based on what we see now, but not confirmed or guaranteed. Things move and change while we're putting things together. Sometimes we, for example, face a roadblock that we don't anticipate, or let's say a detail that actually needs much more to work out, or a feature actually involves more than we had budgeted for example, in terms of work being done, etc. So that could be longer. I hope this is a good enough answer that's kind of clear, but not very clear. But yes, possible, not guaranteed, is the short answer. Okay, I think Nick or Fensmaker following up on the cookie being active, that also doesn't include that you can log out and have that removed, right? So that's also removing the wallet being used if you're using a public device or something that you want to log out. Though I wonder why you'd load your seed phrase into a public device, but that's a whole different thing. Okay, so you could be using a hardware wallet. Let's see if we have any fresh questions while during this. Okay, we already got the tracks question. Yeah, there's a question about breeding costs. So that is still not defined. We'll have a clear answer before the feature is out there, obviously. We've discussed a few times before the applications of breeding and having it, let's say, necessarily be fairly balanced or at least thought out in terms of game theory. Obviously, we want to make sure that players and the ecosystem is not heavily impacted. We know that the typical trend that we've seen in so many games, the typical trend when breeding starts in any game, everybody jumps into breeding. That causes kind of hyperinflation, and then that leads to a little bit of saturation. So we just want to make sure that we have the right measures and anticipation for that. I heard from someone analysis basically that if people rush to breeding with horses that have not been raced, therefore not been tested mentally, then those people might be stuck with horses that are never known or never tried. And then eventually all of those horses should be looked at and judged as untested horses. And as such, the community might actually see those as less desirable because they've never been tested. You have no clue where they came from. Versus any horse that's been tested, for example, 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, might add additional level of, let's say, knowledge about the horse. That kind of makes sense from a gameplay perspective. It affects basically, or I would say, deter people from instantly rushing into breeding from the first second. But it will also be up to the players. So if that happens naturally, I would say probably the players is to blame. We might have lost Mark from a connection point of view, but that is just a lost connection. So I hope that answers. It's not a. The short answer again, TLDR is the actual cost is not defined yet. We want to make sure that the system is safe. We'll also have a bit of consultation to make sure that it's a fair system, that all the current players are not penalized, but also that new players can come on board. Okay. Yeah, Marek, that was an honest disconnection. It's not because of the World Cup question and answer. I'm happy. I'm happy with World Cup discussions. Yeah, I'm based in Qatar, where all the World Cup excitement is all around me. It's so much fun, but that's a shameless plug. There was a question actually from JPS. Will invitation is continue next year? Yes. We envision these to go on at least until our own races are up, and possibly even during. I mean, after they are released and up. We see it as a fun event, and for as long as it's supported and as long as it's desired by the community and the people are interested in it, we'd like to keep it as an option that's available and an activity for it. So that's one more question. I assume we have not missed any others. If we have missed any questions, as always, feel free to drop us a message, whether it's in our Discord or directly to us. There's a question from Tomo. Let's catch this before we hang up. Not sure if I have access before. Would Equine consider having a custom dope in the copy metaverse, maybe for horse holders only? The general answer I would say is actually not specific to copies, as I cannot confirm such a thing being actively developed right now. But it is a possibility. So it has not progressed really in terms of a specific thing, but it's also open to other metaverses, where we know that others are also doing similar things, such as Virtua having their own islands and other metaverses having their own areas and zones. It's let's say a standard design concept for areas being designed and being custom. So there is definitely potential there. We're willing to work with metaverses who are interested in integrating equine in a mutually, let's say, workable way. So we work on that. There's a comment from Luke saying the cats sound hungry. Indeed, I tried to run away from the cats, but the cats are everywhere. So that's there. All right. So without further ado, thanks, Fensmaker Marek, for joining me on this town hall. Thanks for everyone who joined and tuned in live, and everyone who tunes in afterwards. We appreciate your usual support. Thanks for being around, and see you guys in the next town hall in our 1-year anniversary. We'll look forward to seeing you all there. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.